1075 The Game Podcasting is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests.
Last night with what was a phenomenal game over at Colonial Life Arena. Number 2 South Carolina taking on number 4 Texas. It's funny, they're the exact same AP rankings that they were when they played back on Thanksgiving Day. Of course, Texas won that game, and South Carolina dropped in the rankings. Then Texas shot back up. Then Texas falls after losing to LSU. And again, we'll see where the rankings come out at the beginning of next week. I imagine Carolina's probably going to stay put at number 2, and we'll see how far Texas falls. But Vic Schaefer's gotten Dawn Staley twice since he's been at Texas, and they've joined the SEC. And again, it was a back and forth game back on Thanksgiving. Rory Harmon hits that last second shot to elevate Texas. Now that game did not count towards the conference because it was during non-conference play at the Players Era tournament and all that. So this one is the more important of the two matchups when you talk about conference seeding and all those kind of things. It is worth noting there is not a coin flip tiebreaker anymore, so Greg Sankey is not going to get on television to flip a coin between the number 1 and the number 2 seed like he had to do last year. But in terms of seeding for the SEC tournament coming up in Greenville here at the end of the regular season, that is important. And they split the series last year. They only have the one game this year, so South Carolina has the edge. And Texas, of course, lost to LSU on Sunday, so now they're in a 2-game hole to South Carolina, so they would need South Carolina to really falter down the stretch here in conference play for them to be able to get that advantage over them heading into the SEC Women's Tournament. Today is January the 16th, and if that date sounds significant to you, it's because it's the end of the transfer portal window. Again, this year we have one single portal window in college football that started on January 2nd and ends today in terms of being able to put your name into it. Again, you can continue to pull talent out of it in the coming days and weeks and all that kind of stuff, and we'll certainly keep a watch on South Carolina as they continue to do that. But if you are a current player in college football, you want to go somewhere else, today is the day as the deadline to ultimately put your name in. I saw a stat the other day. There's like 10,000 players in the portal. This is getting more and more insane every single year. And we follow along with the high-level players that we know are going to go somewhere and get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in NIL. But there's a lot of players out there that are voluntarily ending their college careers by betting on themselves, thinking that they've got an opportunity to go somewhere else. And, well, they don't get picked up and they go try and return to their previous school. And that school's like, hey, we already filled your roster spot, so sorry. Good luck, though. Kind of the stories we don't get to talk about quite as much coming out of the transfer portal. That's a very real thing. And my God, it's like the number of people entering the portal seemingly doubles every single year. It's crazy. Everything that the Bills accomplish is going to come off the back of Josh Allen. More likely than not, you saw him last week will himself into the end zone against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That defense isn't great. It's going to take a lot of points to win these games in the playoffs, as they needed last week to get past the Jaguars. And again, I trust Josh Allen. I don't know if he's going to win the MVP or not. I think Stafford or Drake May is probably in line to do that. But Josh Allen can make this run happen almost single-handedly for the most part, with the Buffalo Bills, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But, Stafford and Allen, kind of the 1A and 1B there. Drake May, who's had a phenomenal year, and again, could very well be the MVP coming up here in a couple weeks, would probably be my third option for what he's done out there in New England, and finally, got a really good head coach in Mike Vrabel that's got that train on the right track and potentially headed back towards another Super Bowl for the Patriots for the first time since the Bill Belichick era. After that, Brock Purdy. Again, my concern level with San Francisco is the health of everybody around him. Of course, George Kittle gets injured last week in their game against Philadelphia. Brock Purdy, though, has shown you the ability to be very efficient, and he's been a part of a team that's got gotten to a Super Bowl, a couple years ago. They just haven't obviously won the thing, but he's obviously capable of going out there and having some very special performances himself. Caleb Williams, again, super high upside, and he made some ridiculous throws in that win last week in the comeback against the Packers. He's still got that wild side to him, where he made some critical mistakes early in that game, throwing interceptions. Where you can still have some bad plays, and against a team like the Rams, that margin for error is going to be a lot lower. I think, and especially this being his first playoff run, is the moment going to be a little bit too big for him at some point? We'll certainly have to see. Again, they've had so many great comeback wins this year. Maybe he's not, phased by anything